Hello everyone, welcome to Manga Boy. Read his usual manga. Look at all that. I don't know how well you can see it with a light glare like that. I'm blasting myself with light. I hope I get a good tan. Anyways, so we've got a title I actually was recommended to read, and I was at Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, what the heck do I get at Barnes & Noble? When maybe it's all coming from Right Stuff, and it of course eventually did all come from Right Stuff. So I'm glad I picked up a new series. Neek actually recommended this to me. So Neek, thank you so much, because this series is gold. I don't know. I haven't been on a lot of MangaTube lately. I've been really busy with things and stuff like weird weddings and planning for them and things like that. So I haven't really been watching a lot of MangaTube or much YouTube for that matter. There's also like the return of like Stranger Things and things like that, and I watched that too. So that's where I've been. If you guys are like, wow, Man Manga Boy used to watch my video, what the heck? Well, that's where Man Manga Boy is, okay? He's doing his stuff, he's planning, he's editing, he's making covers for his stuff, and he's working, okay? But this series right here is pretty funny. It's about this uncle who is returning from the other world, and the other world, he saved it. He was followed around by this little elf lady, who was, in this corner here and over there, who's clearly interested in him. She's Sundari, however you say it. And like, she is pretty funny because she's clearly into him, and the uncle keeps shooting her down. Every time, she thinks she's making progress with uncle. Uncle's like, nah, I'm gonna go sell that ring. Like, we need money for food and hotel. And she's like, not the ring. And, because she thinks that he's proposing to her. But no, she was wrong. He gave it to her for money, and then he wants it back. So Uncle's really a funny guy. He is like old school neat or weeb. Well, maybe not really a weeb, right? He's just like a geek. So he's a huge Sega geek. He loves Sega. He thinks the Master Drive and the original Sega are sick, and he loves the Dreamcast, and so he's always trying to play Sega. It's a wicked funny series. He lives with his nephew. His nephew has to help from the belt. They have a YouTube channel together. Uncle's a YouTube star. That's how they get all their money now. It's great. Oh, and he can use magic in the real world. So it's hilarious. It's a good time. Definitely recommend reading it. Prison School Volume 7. Obviously Prison School I'm going to recommend reading as well. Prison School is really funny. Let me see if I can find some silly things that happen. There are quite a lot, like they get bit by snakes, right? And they have to suck the venom out of each other's, one out of one's butt, the other one out of the inner thigh. You can guess who has to go where, but it's pretty funny. They want to make an escape, so they signal to the other boys to make a bottle rocket. So he makes a rocket, and it's like as big as a rocket out of bottles. He makes a rocket out of bottles. Okay, and so they're playing with it in the pool to make sure it floats and it'll be okay. And the principal and him are trying to save the Shadow Council, because the Shadow Council is willing to have the wet t-shirt party, whereas the regular student council says no wet t-shirt party. And so they're like, whoa, we gotta band together. Put our differences aside, because they are still pissed at Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi, is that right? Yeah, Kiyoshi. Sometimes I mix up names from other series. So they have to band together and put their differences aside. Forget how Kiyoshi screwed them over, okay? And just help him escape to save the student Shadow Council. Hilarious story as always. Apparently it doesn't end good. I don't know, though. I haven't gotten that far. Haiku Volume 9, 10, 11, and 12 were read this week as well. This covers all the way up to the beginning of the spring tournament, and also the I think it has a little bit of the end result of the previous tournament. So it's mostly just the planning to train for the tournament arc that's upcoming, and a little bit of the start of it, but largely just the training camp. They have to study really hard, because if they fail, then they have to take a remedial test to pass. And Hinata did, it's pretty funny, Hinata did really good, because he's so serious about wanting to get to this camp, right? And then of course he fails, but why does he fail? This moron, he decides to accidentally put all of his questions one line up, like on a multiple choice survey. I don't know if they have those anymore, if it's all digital these days with kids, but Back in the day, you had to fill in the circles with a pencil. And if you're one line off, they said, I don't care. You get a 0, dummy. Next time, bring a ruler or just suck it up. It's kind of crappy because like if you get everything right and you're like, listen, if you just shift it up, I got 100. They like say, nah, too bad. And that's just the way it was back then. I don't know if it's like that anymore. But yeah, it's a pretty funny little bit of an arc there to see Hinata training and Kageyama training. They also get a nice idea for our new move, which is kind of cool, or rather a better understanding of their current setup. I don't know how well this is showing up when I flash you guys these pages here. I honestly don't even know what I'm showing you guys a lot of the time. I could look at it like this beforehand, but I just haven't done it really too much. I picked up Moriarty the Patriot 2 and 3 from Right Stuff recently. I was kind of upset with Volume 2. Volume 2 has a really cool introduction of Sherlock Holmes. The downside with it is it goes from the Moriarty show to the Sherlock Holmes hour for 2 volumes. And they are going after these nobles who are killing kids and like, you know, raping them and just doing like a whole bunch of dirty things to them. So it's actually a really like, you know, nasty read. And then that's when Moriarty comes back. Sherlock is doing his own thing. He finds Watson and everything like that. I was really disinterested by the Sherlock Holmes stuff because I've seen that story 100 times and you guys probably have too. But the Moriarty stuff is really cool because we don't see a lot of Moriarty, you know, what brought him to become Moriarty like we're seeing in this series here. So I've been enjoying it. We also have Playground by Hiro Mashima. I've just been reading everything Hiro Mashima these days. That's not much of a panel, is it? So yeah, this had a bunch of good stories, a bunch of bad stories. I really did not like Xmas Hearts. You can see a list of the stories right here. This one was good. This one was pretty cool. Most of them weren't bad, honestly, but some of them were kind of crappy. Bad Boy song I didn't really like. It was interesting, but not great. But the Santa one I really just... you know, just not my thing at all. I get it. You wanted to make a holiday themed like one-shot / story maybe. I don't really know. But it's June. I like Christmas a fair amount, but I just thought it was so dumb that there was multiple Santas. And it's just like there was too much to buy in too short amount of time. And it wasn't very interesting to me because I never think of Santa as like an action hero. I think Billy and Mandy might have had Santa as an action hero. I know American Dad does. If you guys watch American Dad, Santa is hilarious in that one because he's like a villain. And every year he tries to kill the Smith somehow. But yeah, that's what I read this week. Please let me know what you read down below. And if you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.